Hey, what's going on? I'm Manuel. So what I have behind me is a Ford Flex, and what I'm going to talk about is how to install the roof racks on a Ford Flex that did not come with a roof rack. This will cover all years Ford Flex. It does not matter which year you have or what trim do you have. Obviously, as long as you do not have a roof rack, unless you actually just want to replace it, then this video is also for you. So what I'm going to cover is the removal process, the inspection process, what to look for, what the manufacturer's design for the removal process is, and the way that we're going to do it, which is a shortcut version, and how to go about that, and also an installation procedure. Everything's going to be done in more or less a live feed video because of what I came or encountered online is there are a few how-tos and some explanations, but personally they're not really all that helpful for those who are visual learners. Maybe have to see like that actual hands-on. So hopefully I can provide that for you, and if you like the video, you know what to do. Install the roof racks on your Ford Flex. From left to right, you have a rag. I have a microfiber rag. You have some kind of lubricant. In this case I have water displacement, but it also acts has lubricating properties. So I have WD-40. I also have some silicone RTV. I have a 1/4-inch drive, 4-inch extension. I have an 8mm socket, shallow, and I have a 1/4-inch drive ratchet wrench. I have a flat tip head screwdriver, and I have a poking tool to remove some of the butyl that's covering the holes that we're going to have to access. This right here is the strip that you want to remove. You want to let the gaps in between. You want to find a spot to where you can start prying out. Now, if you have something hard and plastic that you can put in between and pry out, that's best so you don't damage your paint. I couldn't find anything soon to keep the video going, so I just got a screwdriver. I put some duct tape to provide some kind of protection, and I also have a rag. So you just find anywhere really in between where you want to start, preferably from the rear, but it again does not matter too much. Alright, so don't get alarmed there. What you heard was the rail unclipping itself from the plastic clips that are securing the whole strip all the way across. So what you now see is the strip disconnected here. You want to remove the whole rear forward. I just decided to do it here so that way I can get a good video for you, but I'm just going to work my way now to the back. So at this point, everything's unclipped except for that one screw that's actually going through the body. There's a nut in the inside. However, that piece right there we do not have to remove. You can actually slide the rail off of that bracket, and then the new rail that has the holes for your rack, you'll just re-slide it in. I had already removed that side, so I can actually show you what the other side is. However, I have not cleaned it yet, but that way you have an idea of what it is that you should be looking for. It also wants you to remove your B-pillar covers from each side. Drop this sunglass cover and drop your trim from the inside. Bring it down some so you can access two screws that are securing the strips from both ends across. So what I'm going to teach you now is how to do the shortcuts where you don't have to do none of that work. Alright, so the left side has already been removed, and this is the bracket that is still through in the body. and all I did was slide the entire strip all the way out. So the new strip does come with this bracket also glued and kind of pried in place. So you're gonna have to pop that out from the new one, and I'm also gonna show you that procedure. However, before I proceed and cut this clip off, you want to clean this whole area here. You can see there's some dirt, some debris in there. That's going to fight against you during the installation. So you want to make sure that that is as clean as you can get it to ensure that you have a smooth slide in for your new bracket. Now that I have showed you the other side, what it looks like removed, and what to look for at the brackets and the cleanliness of it, now I'm going to show you the procedure that you actually have to do in order to keep the bracket in place and also remove your non-roof rack strip. So you want to ensure that you have a good grip on your strip, and if you see the contour that the strip takes, that's the same axis that you want to have as you pull on, because essentially what you're doing is sliding the strip off of the bracket. So it is kind of tight there, but your advantage is that you have your body weight, something to support yourself on, both hands, and you can tug, twist, not too much because you don't want to damage the bracket. Just work towards the rear of the vehicle itself. Just like that. Yours might be just as easy, others may be a little stuck, but if you think about it, your body weight versus really the design of this bracket installation, it's always going to be as smooth to remove it. Alright, the next step in the process is to remove some of the clips that retains the strip. It's going to be your second clip. So your second clip from the front and your last clip, very last clip. They are secured by an 8mm bolt. So I have a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and a 1/4 inch drive 8mm socket. Not your first one, second one. The following step is to ensure that you get your plastic strip out. This one is not compatible with the one for the roof rack. So this time, the only thing that's securing your plastic trim to your vehicle structure itself is a little bit of butyl. It's like a butyl tape, like an adhesive, sticky adhesive. So this time we're just going to pry the plastic off. You want to be careful, use something that's not going to damage the paint of your car. Again, I'm using my rag here, and I wrapped up my screwdriver with some tape. That's it. Same process with the one in the back. You may not see it as clear, but as you can see, there's nothing else securing it other than a little bit of butyl tape right here. We'll talk about this here in a little bit. Alright, so we already removed both plastic trims, the second one and the last one. Now what you're going to see here is a butyl strip all the way across. You're going to see the hole of the bolt that you just removed. Now you're also going to see a divot, a slight divot right here. This divot is covered by just that butyl strip. So what I'm going to do is just clean off this area here. Now, the part that you have to pay attention is that this is just a hole. If I poke it, there's a hole there. There's no threads in the hole, unlike this one here. So once I clean this butyl, I'm going to use one of the screws that comes with the kit that you buy for the installation of your roof rack. These are about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch longer than the ones that came just to secure the clip, so do not reuse those. These are longer because they have to go through the whole roof rack assembly and secure itself here. So back to this. Once I remove the butyl strip, there's going to be a hollow hole, a little shorter in diameter than this of the screw. So you're going to use the screw as your tapping screw at the same time. You're not going to install the screw with the roof rack assembly on. I do not recommend that. I recommend just using the bolt itself through, so you can create the threads and ensure that the hole and everything is straight, so that way the threads are cut, the hole is straight, and then at the point of bringing in the roof rack with a strip, it all just falls in. You install the 4 screws and you're done with it. So what I'm doing right now is just picking holes around it. The butyl is rather resilient. It's not necessarily going to tear into pieces. So now I'm just working it out. Okay. I'm not going to move the camera here so you can see it clear, because after you remove the butyl, you're going to see the hole anyways. There's no threads in the hole. So at this point, I'm going to grab the provided longer 8mm bolt. Should have my ratchet in my pocket. Make sure I'm tightening. So I'm starting it through like this so I can create some inwards pressure to allow it to engage onto the metal. So it kind of already self-tapped the first thread. Now I'm just ensuring that still the bolt is going in straight. You do not want to allow it to go at an angle. So right now it is straight. So I'm just going to ratchet it in a little bit. During the process of ratcheting in, I am actually creating some threads. This is a gearless ratchet. That's why you don't hear no clicks. You don't have to go all the way down because the metal is about this thick. So I already know that I went through the full body of the bolt at the shank of the bolt. So the threads are already fully cut. Now I can back it off. So you're going to repeat this process in the back. It is no different at all. And once we do the back, I am going to clean this strip as best as I can, and then I'm going to further explain the little plastic fitting that stayed in the front and how to go about that. See if I can get the camera over here so we can see this. So this is your original one that already had threads cut in it, and this is the new hole that we created and just created threads in it. Now they are the same. Alright, at this point I have cleaned off the adapter stud that's securing the track at the front end. This is the windshield, front windshield. And I just want to give you an idea of why are we doing it the way that we did it. So this is what you find, which is the same one right here on the new track, the one with the roof rack. This is pressed in. This is going to be your most difficult task. It is to remove this one off your new track. The one here, it was easier because it is mounted, it's secured, and you have your whole body and two hands to pry on off of it. Your new track, however, is not installed on anything, and you're fighting against the flimsy aluminum piece and this mounted to it, so you're going to have a hard time there. You have to be very careful as how you're doing that, because you don't want to bend your aluminum lining for your new roof rack. So this piece right here is installed and screwed in from the inside. If you want to tackle that task, this is not your video, because I'm not going to do that. At first I thought of doing the hard right, but this is just as easy. There's no problems here, not compromising anything. So this is what you're going to be presented with your new rack. Slide this off your new rack, so now your rack can just slide onto this plate, and now it's going to be secured from this tang and then the 4 bolts all the way across, and that shall culminate the installation. And now I still have one other track, which is my other side, that I'm going to remove to show you how I'm going to do it. The process, however, it's not going to be recorded in its entirety because it is time consuming, and you're just going to have to work your way, and your tools are going to be slightly different than mine, and you might be a little smarter than me, find a different way how to do it, but I'll show you mine. Alright, your roof rack assembly, mine at least came in a bag. This is what yours probably would look like. So it's wrapped up here. You can see right there the stud that is pressed on the very end of the flimsy aluminum rail. And what I'm going to do is attempt to show you how to remove it in my method. You can choose whichever method you want. So you can see how flimsy this is. You don't want to bend it, because once you bend it, it's not going to come back to the same position. It's going to crinkle in the corner, and it may even possibly destroy your whole assembly that you just bought. So essentially you just want this to come out and slide out. However, that is easier said than done. As I was thinking what method I can show you, which is different than what I tried earlier. So this would just be me giving a shot. First time also on camera. We're not keeping this stud at all for any other reason. So what I'm doing is securing that, and I'm just going to hang this right here. Hopefully that will slide out. And I have the glass door in front of me, which is not a good idea. But what I'm about to do is let me get this out of the way. That actually worked really good because I'm already halfway out. So I'm going to go with recommending this method because I just got this done here real quick versus the other way. I couldn't have done it any easier. Alright, so if you're wondering if this is going to get damaged, yes, it is going to get damaged. You're not using this at all because this is what we're getting out of the way if you're doing it this method. So alright, the next video is going to be me explaining one more detail up there on the roof of the vehicle. Alright, one thing I'm going to cover is you have your plastic piece right here, because you're going to be sliding something here, plastic on metal. Originally it was kind of tight, so we're just going to put just a little bit of WD-40 in there. Although it is a water displacement chemical, it has some some lubricating properties. It's going to help us slide that rail in here. Now before I cover this area up, one thing is I have some silicone RTV. I'm going to put a deliberate amount on everything around the hole. I'm going to cover the whole hole up, because as I drive that screw in, or the bolt, it's going to just either push some of the RTV through and also keep some around to ensure I have a good seal here so I don't get any water intrusion into the cabin. I'm going to put some on all four corners, more or less, once I lay the whole rack here and I got it slid in place. So I'm going to keep the video recording for you to see how I do it. I'm going to start from the back just to line it up to ensure I'm not going either too far forward or back. So now I just laid there. I'm going to let it come down a hair. Now I have my track here and I'm going to guide it through. Now mind you, you are working with some flimsy metal here, and you now have to push the whole thing forward until it stops here at the backstop, for lack of better terms. All right, there it is. So it is flush. That's going to be a given now. Everything else is going to line up. So at this time, I'm going to grab my RTV and I'm going to dab it in the bottom, and then I'm going to grab my 4 screws and I'm install it here. Apply a generous amount of RTV. You do not want to come back in here and having to access all this again for a minor or leak, any kind of leak at all. Now the manufacturer recommends to use a little bit of butyl. I do have butyl, but I will not use butyl because out of all my years working on cars, I have used RTV to seal metal components where oil is and higher pressures, and I do not have a leak there. So if I use the same compound here, which is not going to be exposed to any extreme amount of pressure differences from inside the cabin and out, I know I'm going to have a good seal. However, the butyl, I think that's an inferior type of seal versus the RTV in itself, so I chose the superior. So now I'm just pushing down the strip onto the remainder of the clips, which is here. There's going to be one here. And that's it, because now the other 2 securing points are going to be your bolts. I grabbed an extension for my ratchet because I would not have enough ratcheting space that would be hitting my roof rack. These are torqued to 6 Newton meters, or excuse me, 6 foot-pounds, plus or minus 1 foot-pound. However, you want to go until you see right here that's actually being pressed down. The plastic trim is being pushed down. These bolts also have a rubber ring around it. You want to make sure that that gets not exploded out, but squished in to where it's actually aiding in making the seal as well. 2 more bolts on the back. Here's another tip while you guys are watching me screw this in. You always want to start the bolts in, all of your mounting bolts, before you tighten them all in. That way you make sure that they all have started on the threads and you're not pushing against one hole against the other, because that can potentially have you go in crooked. You don't want that. Gotta get my plastic trims. Alright, the plastic trim, it has, let me drop them in my tools. On both ends, they have a little tang and a clip. You want to align the tang first and then pop in the clip. What I always do, because they're plastic, I'm going to spray just a little bit of WD-40 here on the tang. Probably unnecessary. You don't have to do it on yours if you don't want to. Simple as that. Same thing here. Well, guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video on the how-to for the installation of your Ford Flex roof racks. I certainly enjoyed making the video for you guys. Please comment, like, let me know what you think, some improvements, or whether I did good. I would like to know regardless. Also, if you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and also visit my page, ImportWorx.com. You guys have a great day. Baby, I should do